Good morning, everyone, in person and online. I'd like to call to order the EDC for Snoqualmie, March 15th at 8:01. Can everyone hear me online?
Yes, good morning. I can hear you. This is Louis Washington.
Good morning.
Good morning.
First is to, does everybody approve the agenda for today?
I'll move to approve. Second.
Second.
Need a second. Okay.
I second.
You're gonna second it? Okay. All those in favor?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Aye.
Okay, next is to move to approve of the minutes for February 15th of 2023.
I move to approve.
Second.
All done. Okay, so next, our first thing is community liaison report.
That's me. I'm like, do I stand up and, Andy, I should probably do the microphone. Please. All right. Looks like I've never done this before. Good morning. I'm trying to think what my report is. I almost don't want to go first. I'm so sorry. I'm not awake, not enough coffee. Things are busy. So what I'm working with the Arts Commission. There's a survey out to the community, which I encourage everybody to partake in. The commission is really comprised of a lot of new members. And so the work that they're going to do is very different than what they've done in the past. Just as an FYI, they won't be doing art and wine walks this year. Those are kind of gone, I guess, for now. That was a partnership with the gallery, and just it took a lot of work, a lot of boots on the ground, and they just didn't have the volunteer support. So those art wine walks are going away, and the commission is working towards what they want to do this year, as well as results of the survey. We have some exciting things happening, maybe some murals coming to town on sides of buildings. So we hope to get it all done, but some of it is heavy lifting, and it is just capacity of the volunteers and staff. So I hope, fingers crossed, we can get all these great things done. As far as events, working towards egg hunts, those will be coming in April. Those are always a good time.
Are those going to be Ridge and downtown?
Yes. So the Friday night will be a teen flashlight hunt up at Community Park. Both of the egg hunts are a partnership with the ROA and the city. I think it's a good thing that we do some engagement for the teen population. There's very little that they are able to participate in, so that's always a nice fun event. And then in the morning, it's down at Centennial, and that is for the little toddlers, and that's always a well-attended event. And then the city, I work with the downtown merchants to help them with some of the marketing and some of the supplies, and then they will be doing an egg hunt downtown immediately after. So the little kids hunt kicks off at 10 a.m. Within 5 minutes, they're done. Parents leave, and then they head downtown, and then they start not trick-or-treating, picking up eggs. Picking up eggs downtown. So yes.
Is North Bend doing anything also?
I'm not sure.
This has your ask, but
no, I haven't heard. I haven't talked to them about that. That's never been a partnership. These events are partnerships with the homeowners association, and they were actually events that the city did before there was even, I think, an ROA. So it's been quite a tradition. And on the greater east side through the years, a lot of egg hunts have gone by the wayside, and so it is kind of nice that this community still does that for the kids and the teens. So yeah. I apologize that I'm not fully awake. I think those are my updates. If anybody has any questions, more to come as I progress throughout the year. Things will get busier. So, all right. Thank you.
Thanks, Nicole.
great. Next.
Me?
You.
Good, okay. Lots of things happening. I was on the phone with Senator Mark Mullet yesterday. We had a meeting, and we are positive that the second phase of SR 18 will be funded. So that is awesome news. We have been fighting that like crazy, and it is, the governor, if you guys don't know, took it out of his budget. And we were he told us that we were going to have to wait 6 to 7 more years in order to do the second phase of SR 18. And that was just, couldn't do that. So, we fought that very hard. I think Rob Watton was with us. He testified once already, right, on that? So anyway, I just wanted to let you guys know that. I was very happy to hear that from him. We still have a big fight right now with the police pursuit bill, and that is going crazy. The person who started that in the first place a couple of years ago, I think it was, the senator, would not, sorry, it was a was representative, would not let it be heard into in anything. She closed it down completely. And so this is the first time that we've ever had that opportunity. The Senate took note and said, nope, we're hearing it. And so they did. So we still don't know what that outcome is, but that's going to mean a lot to our city, especially. And then there's another bill that just went through with the hospital that was negotiated before. Do you remember which bill that number was? 5?
No, 1838. I don't
I think it's
remember, because there's a
1530.
few of them on the docket.
Yeah. So they were trying to make the hospitals like millions of dollars into nursing and
It was staff, yeah.
Staff,
It was
yeah.
staff ratios. And so they negotiated so that.
yeah. So that was an amazing thing that we were able to sign on that and help with that, because that was amazing. And then there's one other bill that we are still not having very much luck with, and we do need some help on this, and is the Long-Term Health Act. And that one is, if you did not opt out back when they first started it, you can't opt out of it now. And it is going to be in effect July 1st. So that's going to hurt a lot of our businesses. So I just wanted to let you guys know we're still fighting on that one. So I don't know if that's going to, I think it needs to go to the vote for the voters, but I don't know if that's going to happen. So anyway, I just want to let you know on that one, because that's not good. And then this next week, we have Matthew Gardner, who is the chief economist of Windermere, who is coming for our luncheon, and great opportunity for him to speak on the big Silicon Valley Bank collapse. So I think it'll be, I think that there's a lot to be done. So you guys don't want to miss that. That's going to be really amazing. It's next Wednesday at 11:30 at the club at Snoqualmie Ridge. So that's happening. We have our big gala happening. We're honoring quite a few businesses from Snoqualmie in there. So very exciting about that. And then the following month in April, I think it's the 22nd or 26th, I can't remember, it's the State of the Cities. And so really excited, because that one's going to be great. It's going to be up at the casino. So had lots of meetings. I also wanted to tell you really quick, we had a meeting with ZTech, 26, thank you, with ZTech, and that went really well. They Edify bought them out from Canada, and they're staying here, which means a lot. So I just want to let you guys know that, because it's a pretty big thing. So anyway, that's it.
Just a couple things.
Couple things.
Okay, so community development report.
Yeah, thank you. Emily Arteche, Community Development Director. You know, we've started introducing this monthly report, which, let me see if I can bring that up as an attachment. This is something that the department puts together every month, and we've modified it a little bit to help provide some more information to the Economic Development Commission. Specifically, you know, we're showing here how much building activity and planning activity has occurred in this past month for February. And then we have a nice little synopsis of the kind of current planning projects that we're working on. These are projects that you're probably aware of. Timber Trails is the last subdivision. It's it's a mixed, a multifamily development, I should say, on parcel S14, It was designated by the Snoqualmie Ridge 2 as mixed-use final plan amendment for a density of 4 to 6 dwelling units per acre. We're also working on the model train museum/park. No applications in for that, but we anticipate that they'll actually come in for a pre-application meeting very soon, maybe this spring. The rails project across the street, Snoqualmie self-storage, putting a third building over an existing parking lot that had RV storage on it. Sigello Cellars, they did come in for a pre-application, but no permits have been submitted yet, but we anticipate that happening very soon. And then we've got the comprehensive plan. It's an ongoing effort, and we do have that on the agenda too, so when we're ready to talk about that, we can give a little update of where we're at on that. Any questions?
So, did we get any new permits or any submissions for permits last month?
No, no new ones, just existing ones, yeah. There's a lot of speculation out there. I mean, I've gotten quite a few calls on different properties, and people are anticipating coming in. Even some anticipation, there's a vacant lot just at the, I guess, the south end of the bowling alley, next to the little drive-through coffee shop, some interest in a development there recently.
What about the development that has a sign on it that's the school?
No, I don't have any information on that.
There's no, like, nothing?
I believe that sign came down as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was, I think, put up a little prematurely. The lot is owned by somebody, but there's been no activity, and I believe the sign is down.
Okay. And then I also heard that there's a running store going in next to the laundromat. Nothing from that?
A running store?
Like a runner's?
Tennis shoes and stuff?
Haven't heard
I haven't
anything.
heard that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that the same person from years ago?
It could be.
What's the facility currently used as?
It's empty. It was it was down to earth last time, the last.
Years.
We can follow up with that, probably a tenant improvement. I can talk to John Cooper, the building official, but yeah.
Just want to see if there's anything else there's a couple other places I've heard that are going on too, so I'm just curious.
That actually could be a good space.
It'd be really good
It'd be a really good space for that. Because if it's the same person that tried to go in the Ridge probably a decade ago, that would have been a little premature and expensive, but that would be a great location for that, if that is going on.
Sure.
Yeah.
I think that I just wanted to add, it was some information that we brought forward to the downtown merchants last month. Jason Rogers, our senior planner, notified or informed the downtown merchants, but on Railroad Avenue, and again, I'm not a planner, so I'm going to probably butcher this a little bit, but I think it's definitely worth noting. On Railroad Avenue, we have some ratios that we have to maintain based on the types of business, and that is put in place to protect the vitality and the diversity of the downtown businesses. It is not something that we have to look out for on Falls Avenue. I felt that it was necessary for this information to be shared to the businesses because oftentimes they can be doing things inside a building that maybe is not triggering any sort of permit or a business license. They could invest a lot of money infrastructure only to be told, hey, this doesn't meet the criteria. So we shared that with the businesses just so that they were aware. And I'm already kind of hearing some chatter about maybe some different owners and things going on. So just as EDC, I just thought maybe you guys might want to be aware of that there is a strategy in place for us to try to protect the integrity of what we're offering downtown.
One, it's the same but different up on the Ridge Merchants, correct?
Yeah, that's a little bit more in-depth, correct?
Same concept.
Same concept, a little bit more in-depth and probably a little bit more layered, especially when you have, well, it's the same as downtown, multiple different landlords. But I will say up on the Ridge, I think that the element that comes into play there is how long things stay vacant and then the ability to do something different with the property as long as it stays vacant. I don't believe that that is in place downtown. Downtown, to give it more specifics, would be like right now, we're pretty much where we want to be with stores and brick and mortar. So if a store was to go out of business downtown on Railroad, we would not want to see that become like a tax accountant office, nothing against tax accountants, but we just want that vitality coming in. So that's the type of thing that we have in place downtown.
And
I was just going to say, and I think last month you talked about, or maybe Emily, you talked about reviewing some of the planning or the design standards or the occupancy up on the ridge.
Yeah, that's still an ongoing work program item for the CD committee and planning commission. So we are looking at all the various angles on how we want to attack that.
Thank you.
Okay. I guess on to mayor's report. No, Emily, are you reporting on?
I am not.
Mike
Yeah, I don't have.
Sarwine is here.
Yeah, Mike Sarwine, so you could speak on that.
Well, good morning. Mike Sauerwein, City Administrator. I would just echo a couple of things that Emily was talking about, that, you know, even though we're in a bit of a lull right now as far as building permit activity and construction is concerned, you know, we're considering to ramp up our staff here in the Planning Community Development Department and making sure that we're ready for the projects that are coming on board. So with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have. Thank you.
Thank you.
Is anybody else online?
Anyone online have any questions?
Nope. Not at this time.
Okay, Emily. Comp plan.
Yeah, thank you. Emily Arteche, Community Development Director. Yeah, you've had, for several months now at your meetings, you've had movement and progress on the comprehensive plan. If you recall, I think it was back in November or December, we introduced the idea of the economic development element, kind of showing you what it looked like and explaining that we'd be going forward with some amendments to update the element as well as the entire plan. And we brought in some experts, specifically somebody from the Puget Sound Regional Council, who presented an economic development guide that we could use. And last month, we provided you an update on exactly how the element would change and what areas of organization we would be focusing on. At this point, we don't have any actual comp plan goals and policies redrafted to provide to you, but we are working on it. We do need a little extra time to prepare. We've had some staff changes. Recently, we just lost our senior planner, Jason Rogers, who was working on that update. But we do have a new staff member, David Goodman, and I would like to introduce him if he could come up to the podium and introduce themselves. He's working on picking up where Jason left off, and we anticipate having a good chunk of these draft goals and policies available for review at our next meeting in April. David, would you like to come up?
Hi, good morning. Like Emily said, I'm David Goodman. I'm a new senior planner here. I'm coming from 4 years at King County in various roles related to planning and policy. I happen to also be a Snoqualmie Ridge resident, so there's a personal aspect to the job as well. I was on the Planning Commission for a couple of years, so I think I came in with probably a better than average background in all the things going on in the city than your garden variety planner. But I'm just really excited to be working with you, and like Emily said, already digging into the economic development policies for the city, which I think can be really kind of unique and exciting and really tailored to what's going on here in Snoqualmie. So I'll be excited to come back to you next month with a little more substance to dig into on those accounts. But for now, really glad to meet you all. Happy to be here. Happy to discuss anything about the comprehensive plan with you offline if that's of interest. Otherwise, look forward to coming back in a month with some policies to talk about.
Welcome.
Thank you.
And just another quick follow-up, the city is going to be meeting again with some of the Downtown Business Association businesses. And they had some follow-up questions based on an outreach effort that Nicole was mentioning just a few weeks ago. And then to follow up from that, we'll be having our first public open house on April 6th, giving the community an opportunity to be introduced to the entire project. So
When's that going out? I haven't seen anything on that.
On the 22nd?
The 6th, April 6th.
Nothing has come out officially yet,
Okay.
so we are working on some branding for the comp plan. We should be getting that in a few days. And then once we get the branding, we'll work on the materials to notify about that event. But put it on your calendar.
I just question that time because that's, is it spring break, right?
No,
Is spring
that is
break
why
in
we
the
did it that day. The spring break is the next week.
Okay.
It's the 9th or 16th.
So Emily, question, as I fully support, obviously, the downtown merchants and that outreach, because there's just been years of building that relationship and that community. Did you guys send out the same kind of survey to the Ridge merchants?
And Better Way.
And yeah, I was just gonna say a better way and the other side, because I feel there's been a disconnect for many, prior to you coming on, there's been a disconnect up there in
Yeah.
general. And so I'm just curious how we can put some focus on that
Yeah.
Yes.
again.
Everything you say is true. So the meeting on the 22nd, which was, came out of a downtown merchants meeting, I was a request of the merchants meeting. Last week, I did invite via email any of the Ridge businesses that I had contact information for. So we are giving them that opportunity to come to this event as well. But the goal is to do outreach, not only with the downtown merchants specifically, but the businesses up on the Ridge and Better Way. It's challenging because they don't have a merchants group, so it's more individual based, but we are being equitable in how we're reaching out to people, and that this process will be months long, so we'll definitely get to them. Yeah.
Well, and I think it's hard too, because they're, I want to say demographics, but that's not right when you're dealing with businesses, but what the Ridge has turned into compared to where it was, it's a lot more eye care,
Service or-
healthcare,
yeah.
service driven versus even 2 years ago. So it's a little,
And the equity part is really big up there too, because most of them are English as second language on a lot of the business owners. So we just maybe need to take care of, maybe make a bigger effort on some of that.
Yeah, we're anticipating having another open house for the Ridge, the business owners and the community, just hoping that we can cater to, I don't know if you call it that geographic area. I don't know if they'll all come down and join us on the 6th, or if, you know,
what does an open house look like?
it is simply just an opportunity for people to drop in during a certain time period and then have access to knowledgeable staff about what the project is and walk around, ask questions. We'll probably have some good displays available and, you know, be taking public comment and informing people about what we're doing. So it's low key, it's open. There's not a lot of structure to it, but it at least promotes and provides access to folks about what we're trying to do and accomplish, and then we'll follow it up with other events.
So it's more, I mean, just as we're out in the public and promoting this for you, it's just more of a, this is what the city's vision is, and have a discussion. Not discussion sounds deep, but I mean, just have a conversation.
Yeah, it's an open conversation, you know, for people to understand the update of the comprehensive plan. So,
And what time is this at?
starts at 6 o'clock. Is that right, Nicole? From 6 to 7:30?
I believe we have it set for 6:30.
Oh, 6:30?
6:30.
So I will just say, those are bad times. Most of our people up there will be working and they will not come down for that. We definitely need something that is different times on the Ridge.
What,
And downtown too, I
mean-
guarantee.
Some of those businesses will be closed, or they will be in their height of dinner services and
Yeah.
things like that,
This is feedback regarding the open house. So the open house, I think, is geared to all in Snoqualmie, but I think it's more resident focused than it is business focused. So,
Oh, okay.
okay, so just kind of switch your lens around.
Okay, we're thinking it's business
we're thinking
focused.
business.
It is,
and
the
not-
open house on the 6th is, I would say, resident focused. The meeting on the 22nd is business focused. that came from the request from the Downtown Business Association.
And that's still at 6 p.m. or
The
6:30?
the 22nd is in the morning, from,
Okay. That's
I'm sorry, we are not giving you all the facts, and you're like having to
Kelly
like
and I are
connect all the
going, we're like,
dots.
oh my
You're not
gosh,
in my
we're like,
brain.
Nobody's
Yeah.
gonna come because we're doing business,
22nd,
not
9
residents.
a.m. businesses,
Okay.
the 6th of April evening resident focused.
Got it, okay.
Okay.
Because we're over here like.
I can just
feeling
see it.
on
I feel it, yeah.
I'm like, there's nobody in the restaurant business. that
Coffee,
will be
we all
down
need
here at
coffee,
6 o'clock at night.
Do you have some recommendations, though, if we did do the similar activity with the Ridge, business owners?
So most business owners do not get up there till after 11, because a lot of them live outside. They live in Auburn and all these other areas. So I would say anything in the afternoon, probably later afternoon's better.
1 to 3-ish.
Yeah.
Okay.
After lunch. And again, my mind is lunch focused, in restaurants and stuff like that. So that early afternoon before it goes into the happy hour, and a lot of the time with the services, then they're done with their own lunch rushes of people coming in on their lunch breaks.
Sounds good.
But I also think that it would be beneficial to include, again, just trying to get the ounce of cohesiveness to do it for all the merchants at the same time. And there might start to build that relationship from downtown and Ridge merchants, whether it's Safeway and Down to Earth. I mean, not that they.
Keep wishing on that one.
So, well, because it's been needed.
I know.
Even when I wasn't with EDC, it's been needed to try to work together to promote both sides. So anything else on that comp plan, Emily?
No, that's it.
Okay, thank you. Business visitations. I am going to say, as the proponent for this, I failed. I fortunately got very slammed this month in real estate. So I did not do my business visitations, including visiting Down to Earth and Carousel, which I do frequently, just monthly anyway. But Nicole provided us with a great spreadsheet. I know at least 3 of us have targeted what businesses we want to reach out to. So we're working through that. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I know the big one for me is Space Labs. So now that we got through our press conference, now at least I can, and I've met the team, so I can go back to them and I'll get that. I promise that one. Okay. Yeah.
Anyone online? I know Lewis and I were going to work collaboratively to try to target Safeway, because that manager's hard to get him. Anyone online to get any of their business visits in?
This is Joelle Gibson. So I signed up. I wanted to just make sure that we were cleared those were requests that we each made, but so we're all clear to make appointments with those businesses. Is that correct? I have appointments, but haven't completed any yet because I had a little medical mishap for a couple of weeks, but planning on doing the 5 that I signed up for.
And likewise, and I know I have my 5 and Lewis has a handful also.
Okay.
Yeah, just a little bit of a follow-up with that. Yeah, please continue with what you had signed up for. There was a couple, and I communicated with people individually if there was a bit of not a conflict, but maybe crossover. But just be advised, I know the mayor wants to continue doing her business visits, but I think it's important that this element, which began in the EDC several years ago, that you continue to do this great work. So, but just know she's going to be continuing her efforts as well. And I'll do my best to kind of act as a go-between with both entities so that there's, good communication going on. Although I don't think that if she meets with a business, it doesn't mean that you guys can't, because I think that the dialogue can be very different with the business when it's with an elected official versus ambassadors in the community. So keep up the good work.
We'll get there.
And then for the people online, does everybody have the questions that we came up with a few months ago? I know Nicole sent them out recently.
Yes.
Yes, I do.
I'll check.
Who was that? Was that Larry?
Yeah. I'll have to check my mail. I've been gone for 2 weeks, so sorry.
That's okay, but we can get them back out to you.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, and then Emily, work program updates.
Yeah, I brought that up on the screen. So we introduced this, I believe in January. And at that time, we were asked to go back and find some parking lot items, which Nicole Wiebe actually located from, I believe it was before COVID hit. So we've listed those down at the bottom, and we wanted the commission to take a look at them to see if these were the ones that you wanted to add to perhaps the 2024 work program. And if so, we'll migrate those up and, either 2023 or 2024, we'll migrate them up and add them to the work program. So I think this is an opportunity for discussion amongst the commission.
One thing which I'll defer to Kelly that we brought up when I first joined the EDC is the kiosks. So I think that that's key, and you probably.
Oh, it's
Kelly
two
probably
different
has a-
kiosks.
Yeah, has an update on that. So I think they're crucial personally.
There's two different kinds of kiosks. The kiosk I think that this one's talking about is the kiosk that is downtown, the wooden kiosk. And then our kiosks that we're doing are electronic kiosks. So we definitely need to have more information and be able to spend more time on that.
And
Is that an EDC project though, or no? Okay.
No, but it's very important for tourism.
So we could list it as both one physical and one electronic, put them
Yeah.
on 2024. Okay.
so a little bit of background is that I brought that to the EDC again years ago, and then Kelly kind of took it over. And so even like on the Snoqualmie Valley Trail, there's
Right.
kiosks there, and it just kind of pulls in. Carnation has them, Duval, Issaquah, and it's just, yeah. And so they're very consistent. How did you get those through? Was that King County?
Not Nicole, didn't you get that one through King County? The one that was.
Snoqualmie Valley Trail kiosk?
I'm not aware of that one. I'm wondering, I'm not aware of that one, so I don't know if that was something that maybe Dylan Gamble worked
It
on.
must have been Dylan because I didn't do it. So I think Dylan, yeah.
But it's the King County Trail, because if it's a King County Trail, then it's gonna go through the county, not the
Yeah, it's
city.
Snoqualmie Valley Trail.
And it, I mean, like Carnation, Duval, we finally got them, Issaquah. It's just,
Yeah, I
lay
would
of
say
the
that's
land.
probably the King County Trail system that took care of that. That would be my guess.
and then yours is secondary with. and then, yeah,
Electronic.
What does an electronic trail kiosk look like?
So have you ever been to Europe?
Nope.
They're really cool. They're self-standing and they are touchable. And so it's very similar to what our app looks like for people to be able to know where they're at. It gives them directions and just different things that they can do throughout the valley or throughout.
So does
Snoqualmie.
that tie in with what you were talking about before, like the Chelan?
Yes,
Okay.
it does. There's one in Seguelos right now that is Lake Chelan, that if you wanted to look at it, that's very similar to what we'll be doing.
Snoqualmie Seguelos has one?
Mhm.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
Reason to pop in there.
Yeah, and Ryan's not on here, is he?
No, he's not. Okay, so are we all in agreement to move the kiosk up?
Sure.
And the tourism probably needs to be too.
Well, tourism for sure. Which
That also with the Riverwalk, it's
Ties-
all ties in, so.
and
Yeah.
oh, go ahead.
Oh, quick update is that David Goodman's been working on an application for funding, in particular acquisitions for Riverwalk. And so we're seeking right now some support from the business owners to help make that application go forward, and that we'll submit that today.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
So I did send one to you, David. I don't know if you got it. And I know some of the other business owners were they couldn't do it. Like it was too quick of a notice for them. But if we can like print them out and then go have them sign them is another option. And I can help you with that. It's just that right now it's like busy, but we can absolutely do that. And I think Joelle has one too, right?
Yeah, I emailed it in this morning to David.
Okay.
So is that an ask in the EDC? Is that something we can help with?
If you need more help.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for offering. The application deadline is the end of the day today, so I think we're probably set. I think having one from Joelle is going to be fantastic. So I think we're good for now. Obviously, we didn't provide enough lead time as we'd normally like because I just I just started and took on the project. But it's great to know that maybe for future grant applications and things like that, definitely be a little more systematic about it. But for now, I think we're great. Thank you.
Well, and to Kelly's point too, if there's, I mean, it sounds elementary, but if there's things like you need us to physically go and have somebody sign something because they're busy running their shop or brick and mortar, that's a simple ask that you can do to us too, as we're out and about.
And we're pretty close. So.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you very much.
I don't know if this is appropriate to bring up, but I know that we submitted the letter to council. It went kind of crickets. And so just tying back with tourism, is that something that we can or want to resubmit for funds?
It was through council and they all agreed that they wanted to help us, but I don't know if that helped when they did the budgets. Did that go anywhere? I forgot to look at that.
Putting Rob on the spot.
The look on his face.
I know. Sorry, I put you on the spot, Rob.
That's okay. I think if there's a specific ask of the council and work with Director Arteche, but I think there's some outreach that could be requested with the help of the chamber in directing more tourism, if that's something you desire. I think that there's Kelly's got the resources to do like a every door direct mail and can pick out zip codes that can be mailed out and can be tracked. But we could take that offline. But I would encourage you that if there's some marketing, specific marketing things that you want to help with, you may even consider the whole branding element is another thing that we've talked about, but we need some more specifics, I think, for the council to take action.
Was this
That
in
is
relation
helpful.
to the ARPA funds?
Yeah.
Okay, so we wrote that letter.
We wrote that letter and asked, and then they decided that they would find another way. Councilman Mayhew was adamant about helping us find that funds.
Right. So maybe the pathway isn't the ARPA funds, but as we take a look at revenue forecasts and there's, opportunities of readjusting our budget through the course of the year. So.
And I brought that up with the mayor in January to maybe take a look at that if it's not through council, but it's maybe there's a line item within an EDC. And I don't know the city's budget, it's not my role, but to get some funds there to, again, from the ask that I'm putting you on the spot,
No.
but the ask that we had from you and the council and we provided that letter with our ask, and then we just kind of got left there. And that goes again back to tourism, because that's huge to grow revenues within the valley. That's the easiest way. And so as the Ridge build out is done and lacking some revenues coming in from real estate side of it, that's a direct item that we can try to promote.
Chair, I would recommend that we move it then to the work program, and then we could consider doing what we've done with other, the planning commission, for example, a joint meeting perhaps with, the CD committee, so you could present your work program and follow through with, that letter you originally
Asked for a
sent.
few months to meet with them. So
Yeah.
if you can put that together, it'd be
Yeah,
wonderful to meet with them.
I'll be meeting with the chair of the CD committee today. I'll bring it up.
Yeah, great, thank you.
And one specific thing is that we want to see, okay, exactly how the money is going to be spent and what the outcome is going to be. That's going to be very specific to the council's needs, unless Director Arteche has another pathway. So I would explore that with
And
her
it
as
could be
well.
collaborative. I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to be council, but I think part of our ask in that letter is we wouldn't necessarily have the direct result, because part of the ask is to get some marketing and some, can't think of the word at the moment, but
We're working on it slowly, but we have done, we did get some LTAC funds.
Research,
Yeah.
that's what I'm
We did get some LTAC funds to do
but
some
is
of
to be able
that.
to get some of that research to know who to market to get the results of getting people in the valley to do the tourism.
And it
That
included the
was the-
survey too.
Yes.
And that's that research element of it is,
Branding.
so we're just not throwing money out to zip codes. It's like you were saying, one of the top tourist people are from Pennsylvania or wherever, I mean, just random. And not that we're gonna market to
There's a
Pennsylvania,
reason
but-
Pennsylvania is because of Costco.
Oh,
That's why. Yeah.
So the door is open.
okay, so that door hasn't shut. And again, it might be collaborative between the two. So if we can meet with CD, that would be wonderful.
Absolutely.
So, and then the other thing too is we have a lot of the Ridge businesses that are just begging for something to happen up on the Ridge. And part of it is, and we put it in our first note, but we took it out. But I just want you to know and to maybe look for some grants possible that we could do this, is have an amphitheater at the bottom of Center. It was supposed to be an amphitheater. And then they were going to do the splash zone there. And then they took that out now. And so they're not doing the splash zone there. So that would be ideal to help with a nightlife up there, and just to be able to have families and be able to do a lot of things, is to have a permanent stage up there.
Yeah. Chair, I think that would be a good item to put on the work program. I know that it's been mentioned in some format by the Economic Development Committee, so it's another good item to talk about when you do meet with them in the joint meeting.
And really quick, what's happening with that splash zone?
I don't have any updates on it, but you know, again, I think it's a perfect opportunity to bring it up again with the Community Development Committee.
Well, I thought they were starting construction. It is?
Oh, it is? Okay.
I can get our public, maybe it's for a future meeting, we could have our, speaking of the microphone, but we could have our public works director come and give you a presentation on it, but yeah.
Yeah, and the different parks that are the what is it? The all access parks, or what do they call that? Equity, what is it called?
Just to answer the questions here, so the splash pad is going through. It's going to be on the basketball court in Community Park. That location was chosen for many reasons: electricity, access to water, space. Riverview Park is closed right now, under construction, and they're putting in a new playground equipment structure that is inclusive.
That's it. Inclusive.
That's it. And then that's actually kind of a bonus, because the community and the city have been working for several years now for the inclusive park at Centennial.
Yes.
And that is also going through. That will probably, construction for that, I think, is going to be this summer. I just spoke with the Parks and Public Works Director yesterday about these things. So I think in June, the Riverview will be open. We'll do ribbon cutting and promote that and rah. And then I say that with love, not, sarcasm. And then the Centennial Inclusive Park will probably come online and be open in October. The splash pad, I think, is probably going to go into next year as far as being open, dealing with the health department and just the different things. There's some things that kind of got that maybe realistically put out. I think we were being hopeful that it would be this year, but it's coming.
So Nicole, to clarify, basketball court is splash pad.
Right.
Where's basketball court
Um,
going?
the basketball court, there's a couple of plans, and I'm not sure how solidified they are, because there is going to be some movement. I'm going to let Mike do it because I don't want to speak incorrectly.
Rather than just kind of shooting from the hip on this, why don't we come to have our public works director come to your next meeting? Because he's got, pretty pictures he can show you of what's going to go where, and we're building a bunch of more pickleball courts because that's really popular.
I was just gonna say, because now, as I'm talking in the community, they're like, oh my gosh, where's the basketball court going? And then the pickleball courts are gonna be gone, and so that would be
I was
wonderful.
going to say, so we'll just invite our public works director to your next meeting.
Good.
And let him show you, his drawings and pictures. He's done the same, kind of presentation for a couple other groups before, so it's not a big deal.
Perfect.
That would be great.
I had 28 phone calls on pickleball, like demanding pickleball courts, just so you know.
Well, and it's, like I said, as I'm out in the community and like, oh, we're getting the splash pad and it's coming here instead of there, because they're very happy it's not in the amphitheater area, then all of a sudden pickleball courts and the basketball court, and so that would be great, Mike.
We
Okay.
might, probably we need to like do another press release on some of this too, because we are getting quite a few people asking questions about it.
And then they'll be able, Public Works can speak to the pool? Or is that tabled? It's pool going forward?
I think that would be a really good topic for him to speak to you on.
Okay.
Yes.
So we'll ask for next month. That would be great.
And like, who's able to go to the pool? That's another question that I've been asked a lot.
Yeah, true.
Mhm.
Because and Mike, maybe it's for next month, but do you know, is that pool, even Rob, is it connected to the Y, or is it city, or is it all the above? Sorry, putting you on the spot.
Lots of
I was
questions.
gonna say.
Nicole.
Gotta turn on my Fitbit here. I'm getting credit for,
35,
make sure I'm
35.
getting credit for this. Yeah, we're continuing to work on the expansion of the community center. And that does include a pool and locker rooms and remodeling of the building as a whole. So more to come on that.
Okay.
Other questions you had on it, or?
What's more the accessibility, whether you have to be a Y member or not?
City member or what? That's just
HOA.
that's the big question.
Right. Well, the YMCA has a policy of having a sliding scale for membership, and nobody's ever turned away, so.
Okay.
Yeah, but, as far as specific rules, those are things that are gonna have to be worked out later.
And then the other thing is it possible that we can get the hospital as well? Sometime we need to understand the levy, and also understand what all is happening. There's so much happening at the hospital, and I think it's very important for us to know here the amazing things that they're doing.
So, yeah,
Yeah.
Renee presented at council this Monday, so we'd be more than happy to.
I would say Renee's given a presentation before the council. She also gave one,
At the chamber.
at the chamber lunch.
She'll be at
If the
SVGA.
kid, we could certainly invite her to this committee as well. I know she'd be happy to show up and give her presentation just
It
about
might be,
anywhere she's invited.
it might be
so.
very, very close to the ballot dropping too, so.
And when is that?
The ballots need to be in by the 25th. So our meeting's probably right up against that. Oh, wait, April, yeah.
We'll let you sit down and then come back up.
Thank you.
So
Okay.
much stuff happening though. Oh my goodness.
So personally, I still think it's important, and Emily, I'm gonna put it back to you to be able to maybe represent to us, but I know for Snoqualmie Ridge, it's been a hot topic of signage. I mean, some of it for downtown merchants is out of the city or anybody's control because it's SR, but if we can get maybe from you, things that we can maybe work on and communicate on signage in the Ridge, and that the Ridge merchants have a hard time because people just plow on by and don't realize that they're to the right and to the left. And so I think that that's still a very valid
The sign,
work
well,
program.
and sign
for
is
us.
not only for that, but the new convention center that's going up. We've not ever talked about that signage because there's about 3,000 to 4,000 people that will be up there that need to figure out how to get down to downtown. And so there's more signage issues than just, yeah.
So that definitely needs to be kept as a work item because it's been a point of contention for,
And new places.
yeah. And then UGA planning, I don't know if that's necessarily, that was a Mark Hoffman thing more than an EDC.
It's every,
I mean, I don't know.
That expansion of Douglas,
Yeah,
is,
I mean, all of
yeah.
that needs to be,
yeah,
that needs to still, so the industrial park,
yeah.
the third phase of an industrial park is very much needed for our existing businesses there, so they stay here so they can expand.
And what kind of outreach, has the commission done any outreach to those existing property owners outside the urban growth boundary? I mean,
Yes, well,
years.
I have, and I can share those But I know Rob's had a couple of conversations with him, Councilmember Rob, sorry.
But I don't think it's just Douglas. I mean, I know that the hospital has a definite interest in realizing what's going to happen, staying, in conversation with the city about the 99th and Parkway area and that whole corridor right there. So that's very important. I don't think it's just the expansion of Douglas.
Yeah.
Backside.
Mhm.
So yes, the parking lot items are still
All
very
right,
valid.
we'll move those up to the 2024.
And again, a lot of these parking lot items kind of just went to the wayside with COVID because we just weren't together and we weren't moving forward, but there was a lot of work done pre-COVID on all of these, and then it just.
Yeah. And Chair, it would be my recommendation to continue to have the work program on the agenda, so it becomes, you can see it, becomes more real, you can remember it. I mean, these things did get forgotten and we're putting them back together and you can
sure.
put some focus on it. Okay, thank you.
Does the rest of the chair or commission agree to keep the work program items on?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, yeah, we're all in agreement on that. Guess we had without presenters, we had a short agenda today. Does anybody have anything else?
I can update a little bit.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do please.
So for those of you who missed it, the hospital and Space Labs signed an official agreement last week for strategic partnership. And so SVH, Snoqualmie Valley Health, will be a test site, a demo site for Space Labs for their equipment. And if people know Space Labs, or if you don't know Space Labs, they were the ones who had the monitors on Armstrong when he stepped down on the moon. So they've been in this healthcare business and monitoring business for a very long time. So we're really excited because as they bring their equipment in to test in real time and also on real patients, they also have access to our entire clinician team. Our CMO is going to sit as a medical director on their R&D team, so it'll really help with them to get real-time data and to see what people really need in healthcare. The best part about this and the whole part of the pledge that they signed is for healthcare equity. And so a lot of times the bigger companies will go out and they'll design these really great systems that are very large and very expensive for the smaller healthcare, rural healthcare systems. And so by doing this, they can learn how to scale to just for smaller systems, and then we can reach more people. So really it's the goal is to have everybody getting healthcare everywhere in every community, and so that nobody's excluded because of their social status or the size of their healthcare system in their community. So it's super exciting. Space Labs is over the moon, no pun intended. I think they called it the moonshot for them. I know, I know, that one slipped right out. And so, as we are as well. So we're all, really enjoying this relationship. And it's been 2 years. I mean, talk about great community. Renee Jensen, our CEO, and Shalab Chandra, the president, had a very casual conversation 2 years ago, sort of like, who are you? This is who we are. And that turned into this amazing partnership. So go Snoqualmie. I mean, it's very exciting. So yeah.
Ever get a chance, go take a look at Space Labs up at the Ridge. It's really amazing. They have hospital rooms in there that they use.
And
it is amazing. That's right. And I love that because it had no real patients before.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it might have already happened, but is there a larger press release or?
We released that press last week, and it's across the wire, and we can certainly share it. I can send it to Nicole, and we can put it out some additional news. So yeah,
It's exciting. We had the grand opening of on the Ridge.
Metaesthetics. Snoqualmie Metaesthetics and Wellness opened up in early March. My gosh, it seems like it was so long ago. So yes, so we have Metaesthetics up there, but it's also wrapped in our primary care with our providers. So not only is it, what people would think as med spa, but it's also wrapped around behavioral health and weight loss. And again, you have our entire primary care team to work with each patient. So that's exciting.
Anything new else, like the
Levy?
No, like other doctors and stuff that are coming up there? Is there anything new?
We have new providers that are interested in joining us, and so that ink is not quite, it's still a little bit wet. So yeah, there'll be more to announce. We'll have more providers coming
It's so
on.
exciting.
Yeah, and I'll just throw it out there too, that the levy is coming up. We have, it'll be on the April ballot. Ballots will be in by 4/25. And we're asking to go up to 70 cents per thousand on valuation, and that will cover expanding our emergency department, expanding radiology and lab, including mammo, and also obviously increasing jobs. But the big one, which everybody seems to be the big hot topic, is that if the levy passes, we'll be able to institute a tax credit policy within Snoqualmie Valley Health, within the district, which means that if you are a taxpayer and you pay towards the levy on your bill, then when you come in for services, and that's any services, we will credit that against the balance on your bill. So whatever insurance doesn't pay, then we can take that right off your bill. So that is pretty exciting for us. And so, yeah, just looking to catch up with the growth of the community.
Thank you. That it has definitely grown. And so very excited.
Oh
about
my
that.
gosh, in 2 years, it's amazing.
Mhm.
So going off agenda, because we're kind of done with the agenda, before you need to leave, do you have any council updates that you need or want to present? I just want to respect your time before you need to leave.
Appreciate it. The only thing is, coming up on the 24th, 25th is our council retreat, and it's been some time since we've had it. It is open to the public. You cannot participate in it, but you can listen in, and it's going to be up at the club at Snoqualmie Ridge, and it's going to be really important for the council of determining how we function. And one thing I'd encourage you to do, and that's think about open houses or city hall public forums in the evenings to reach maybe some of the population, because one of the things we're going to be talking about is how to reach out to the public, and now with Zoom we can do things hybrid style too. So as you consider some of the other things, maybe keep that on the top of your list, especially for business owners who are busy during the day, so that they can participate.
Can you send the EDC, like the agenda?
Director Artecha can do that.
Just
Yeah.
because again, it's been years since.
We're finalizing the agenda probably this week with the facilitator who's going to be working with the city council. And as soon as we have that, it'll be posted on the city's website, just like any other meeting. But we can certainly email the.
That would be great.
Thank you.
So,
Thanks, Rob.
and by the way, do you know that you can actually set things on your phone, like through the website, that you can set the alarms and stuff? Did you know that? It's really cool on the website, the city. Yeah, you can go and sign up for all kinds of stuff. So anytime there's breaking news or anything, you can go and get it.
You know me in tech.
It's really, I did it, so you know that.
I didn't know about it, but okay, I'll go
Yeah.
play.
Yeah, I think that's really cool to be able to do. And I don't think I think it's new, right?
We've done just a big update to our website.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's new, it's been available for a while. It's much more user friendly now than it used to be.
Very user friendly, because I could do it.
That doesn't mean I can't.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. But I just say it's got some really cool things, and I think everybody on the EDC needs to know about it, and to keep track of some of the things, that anything that's big that the city comes through, it goes through that. So I think it's really important.
Thank you for saying that.
Yeah.
Does anybody have anything else?
Spoken enough.
Joelle, Larry, Lewis, do you have anything?
Not at this time.
Nothing else from me.
Not at this time. Thank you.
There's one thing I forgot to tell you guys. Hang on. In June, and I just think it's good for everybody in the city to know as well, June 15th, 16th, and 17th, we are doing this for the first time. It's a D1 college recruiting basketball showcase. And it is going to have a lot of people here. The I think it's Mount Si has two courts, and then Issaquah has one, and Sammamish has one. So if you can imagine, this is going to be a huge deal. There's going to be, and it is Father's Day weekend as well. So I just want everyone, I've been trying to spread that word, and if anybody can spread that word as well, it's really, really big that it's here.
Is there a need from the city?
There might be, just because there's going to be a lot of people. And Larry, do you have anything happening?
We're doing nothing. No, I'm just kidding. We're doing a summer program this year. It'll be like a all summer type of package for kids who will be out on summer break. So we'll be posting those and submitting those out. We have actually this is the first time. This is going to sound funny. But we started a spring summer program and we formalized it this year, and we're actually full.
Wow.
Crazy, huh?
That's great, Larry. That's awesome.
Yeah. So for the first time in I don't know how long, I can't recall, but we have now a spring and summer program that actually will run all the way into August before our tryouts. And that's at all three facilities, but predominantly here in Snoqualmie.
So just quick question on that. Do you think most of the kids that are coming are from Snoqualmie, or do you think it's outside the area?
Well, for the spring summer program, they're mostly leagues and camps and clinics. So there'll be a mix. I think there'll be, probably a 50-50 mix, 50 local and then 50% outside. The other programs, which is the summer skate, which is like a, summer pass program, there'll probably be mostly, I would probably say about 80% Snoqualmie kids and families.
Okay. That's awesome. Okay. Awesome. No more tournaments, right? That you know of?
We got one more next week, so we got one more coming up. So we just had two big tournaments, which were hugely successful, and I hope the community benefited from it, because we had somewhere in the neighborhood about 28 teams a week ago.
Wow.
And then we had another 24 teams here this weekend as well.
Wow.
So yeah, it's been really nice. People have had such great feedback from us coming out of state and out of this particular area. Just saying how convenient everything was. The restaurants around town here up on the ridge, and just being able to go into downtown and go to those restaurants, and also a lot of them ended up going to the casino as well. So there was, it did get sort of spread out a little bit. So yeah, it was good. Everybody had a really good time.
That's good to know, because the casino usually says that they don't, people don't come up there from things like that. So I love that.
Well, it's kind of fun because you saw these different hats and swag from different teams all over the neighborhood.
Yep. And it was good. So we have one last one here. We have one more tournament to go, and then that sort of wraps up our fall winter programming. And then we have a new program called the Sunbirds program. That's what I was referring to, is that we're full up on that. So the Sunbirds program, and we're called Thunderbirds in the fall and winter, but in the spring and summer, we're called Sunbirds. And so that program is basically full.
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, Larry, you were on the news. I saw Fox did Sunday night news for the girls hockey, and there was Snow King Arena and there was Wendy. So that, I don't know if you knew that, Larry.
Yep. And we saw
Yeah,
that.
it was cool.
It was very cool. We love the fact that the women's or the girls program is growing so quickly. I think it's amazing. We do have two teams, by the way, going to nationals.
Mm-hmm.
We had two girls teams that qualified and won regionals and are now going to nationals.
Out of Snow King?
Out of Snow King.
Very cool.
Yeah, and we have a boys U6 team going to nationals as well, and we just have it's an amazing. Thank goodness, I'm hoping that COVID's behind us, but, all things considered, it's been nice to sort of bounce back. And kids are back, programs starting to, ascend again, which was what we were hoping for. But yeah, there's a lot of great stuff happening. So
Thank you.
Excited about that.
I have one more, this is Emily Arteche, Community Development Director. One more piece of information. This August 25th, is going to be the 100th year celebration of Meadowbrook, the town of Meadowbrook. And so there's some anticipated plans for that. The Meadowbrook Farm Board is putting together some activities at Centennial and in the old town location. I don't have a lot of details, but it should be something to look out for.
Thank you. Okay, does anybody have anything else? Consider to adjourn?
And move to adjourn.
second.
March 15th at 9:07. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.